was interesting.
All right. It is still good morning here on Thursday, January 4th. Welcome to the House Committee on Government Operations and Military Affairs. We are here to just get a preview of an issue that the Secretary of State's Elections Division is bringing us. And glad to welcome Will Senning back for the first pass here in the second year of the biennium. So thanks for joining us, Will.
Thank you. Good to see everybody. Welcome back to the State House. So Chair McCarthy, Will Senning, Director of Elections for the record. Chair McCarthy referenced this as an issue. I would not even call it that. To be fully clear, this is really a technical correction, is what I would consider it. I was just in the Committee on Appropriations, and we've requested that they add it as an amendment to the Budget Adjustment Act, just simply as a vehicle to make this amendment happen as soon as possible, because it is an important one to get on the books this year, and better to do it right out of the gate here as early as we can in the legislative session. So I think it was well received over in Appropriations, and I will give you a very brief explanation of what we're doing. So in response to the events on January 6th, 2021, the United States Congress took up a bill called the Electoral Count Reform Act with the intention of making some updates and clarifications to the electoral count process as it is prescribed in federal law under that act. That's a very old piece of legislation that hadn't been updated in a long time. And I believe it passed the Congress during that session and was signed into law by President Biden on the 29th of December in 2022, so a little over a year ago. They made a significant amount of updates and clarifications to that law at the federal level. There was significant analysis done on that by various election-related groups, helping the states to provide guidance to the states about suggested adjustments to state law that should be made to come into compliance with the changes that were made at the federal level. So myself and my team looked at that guidance closely, looked at the actual text of the ECRA closely, and worked briefly this summer with Legislative Counsel, who also reviewed that act. Tim Devlin, your Legislative Counsel, still in this committee, if I'm correct, right? And both our team and Tim agreed that Vermont law really only needed one specific change to be made to bring us back into compliance with the new changes to the ECRA. That one specific change is simply one word, and it's changing the date of the meeting when the electors meet here at the State House following the general election. It changes that date from current law is the first Monday after the second Wednesday in December, and the proposed change is to make that the first Tuesday after the second Wednesday in December. So we get past 2 Wednesdays in December, always previously met on the following Monday. We'd now be meeting on the Tuesday. I honestly do not know why the Congress made that particular change, but it affected the need for that change in a number of states across the country who already specified first Monday after the second Wednesday in December as the date for that meeting. So it's that day that the electors all convene here at the State House and cast their votes based on the general election results here in Vermont. The change is made to Title 17, Section 2732, for those of you that might want to look at it, subsection A. That section generally, 2732, describes the process for that meeting of the electors following the general election. Subsection A identifies the location and date of the meeting, which is here at the State House, and was that Monday, and will be changed to that Tuesday again, just to bring it in compliance with the federal law. The only other comment I was going to make that I also made to the Appropriations Committee is that there were other changes made to the ECRA that result in suggestions for changes to state law. The Vermont state law already has those bases covered, as they say. A few examples are that they suggested that state law should contain the location for that meeting, should specify the location for the meeting. Our law already does, being here at the State House. They suggested that state law should address the filling of vacancies of electors if they occur. And our law actually addresses that. That was one of the more recent changes actually to the law, was to put a process in for filling vacancies immediately on that day so that the count can continue and take place. Basically an appointment process by the party of whichever party appointed the electors that are present. And the last example was that the state should ensure that they complete their canvasses no later than 36 days after the election. Here in Vermont, we complete the canvass 7 days after the election. So we're well within the suggested range for completing the canvass. We're actually one of the quickest states in the country to certify our results officially after the general election. So those are some examples, but a pretty thorough review by my team and Ledge Council concluded that the only change we needed was to change the date of the meeting from the Monday to the Tuesday.
And with all the bills I think we're doing, I appreciate the sort of efficiency of just making that technical correction over across the hall. Representative Chase, you had a question?
You said it affected several states and not all of them. Do other states have a reference to whatever the federal law is so that we wouldn't have to change it again if they made another tweak?
Not entirely sure, but that may be the case.
Would there be a particular reason why we would have to set the date certain?
I think once the federal law specifies a certain date, it's probably best practice to have that date be a parallel reference in our.
To have it be repeated or to refer to the federal law, which would change or it couldn't change?
I suppose you could take up either approach.
Okay.
Given the current language, the simplest change was to change from Monday to Tuesday.
Okay.
It hasn't been changed in a very long time. Who knows? I'd like to say I don't foresee it being changed again at the federal level anytime soon, but who can say?
It's always interesting when you're looking at the Vermont statutes online to see, when things were adjusted. And there were a couple of edits in 1979 and 1980 to this. But yeah, it's other than that piece that you talked about the vacancies, I don't think in recent memory anybody's done anything on this.
All right, so it's always a process here that has gone without incident.
So any other questions for Director Sen? Deputy Secretary Hibbert's here. I want to welcome you. Welcome back.
It's wonderful to see you all.
Isn't it?
Oh, man,
What you say is it's wonderful to see you too, is what you meant.
Yeah, we'll allow.
Well, I look forward to spending more time with you. It's fun.
So, great. So committee, could I just get kind of like a thumbs up that that I can tell Chair Lanford that we, barring any surprises, that we are blessing this change? Okay. Thank you very much. That's, you got 11 out of 12 of us with one person absent.
I put a thumb up for Bob.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, proxy.
Yeah, I think proxy voting. That's a good one. But yeah, I'll let Chair Lamper know that we can proceed with that, and we'll just kind of keep an eye on it so we don't have to ping pong you back and forth here as things move through. But I'm sure we'll be seeing you all again for at least some OPR work this year. Great. Well, with that, I think we can adjourn. And we are going to have the governor's address this afternoon, so we won't be meeting this afternoon. I know there's a little bit of committee bill work going on with so that Representative Waters Evans and I would like to circulate a draft that we'll actually be working on the following week, starting with the State Ethics Commission around the ethics bill that I mentioned yesterday. That will we'll probably start taking testimony on that on Tuesday, the 16th. So a week from this coming Tuesday. But hopefully there's a lot there that they gave us to look at. So we'll circulate a clean draft shortly, and it's teed up as a committee bill. So it'll be one of those annoying things where there's a draft request number instead of having a bill number. So sorry about that, but we wanted to work with the Ethics Commission on it. It's going to be a committee.